This podcast is brought to you by HealthRangerStore.com. Lab-tested, clean foods and supplements for immune function, long-term storage, and survival applications. Every purchase helps fund this free speech video platform. Thank you for your support. Today's podcast is about how to make sense of our insane world full of contradictions. And you're seeing this across all the fronts, of course, coronavirus, COVID-19, the advice of the WHO, but also Black Lives Matter, the left-wing riots. They say you should never judge someone by the color of their skin, but all white people are bad and we're born with white guilt or should have white guilt. So they say that they are tolerant and inclusive and diverse, but what they teach is hatred and bigotry and obedience demands. I mean, Black Lives Matter is now demanding that people be publicly humiliated in the streets. You have to kneel down before them. You have to literally shine their shoes or lick their boots or lie down on the street or carry a sign or profess to have white guilt. These are tactics ripped right out of the pages of, Nazi Germany or the Bolshevik Revolution or the Cultural Revolution of Mao. I mean, this we've seen this before. We've seen this movie before in history, and it usually ends in genocide and mass death. So, perhaps this is not a good movie to kind of replay. But how do we make sense of all this when the WHO one day tells us that there's really no such thing as asymptomatic spread of the virus? And then the next day they say, oh no, we reverse ourselves. We think there now is. Well, wait a second. If what they're saying is being driven by the science, how can the science change overnight? Right? How can suddenly, they didn't find a bunch of new science all of a sudden. No, they changed their view. They changed because their view isn't even rooted in science. Or how about in January of this year when they said no one should wear masks in the public, just healthcare workers. And then later on, they said everyone should wear a mask. Well, how does that suddenly change? Or what about the idea that when white people protest, they hate the elderly because they might cause the spread of the coronavirus that kills innocent old people. But when black people protest, that's more important than the coronavirus. Well, wait a minute. What about the elderly black people? What about the family members of the black protesters? So somehow we're being told by the media and the authorities that the virus is racist against whites, that the virus will attack whites worse than how it attacks blacks. So that makes no sense either, right? So all these contradictions in the media, in social media or Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, he's out there saying, we support free speech while he's banning everybody that they don't like, right? That we must defend free speech as they're shutting off your account and deplatforming you. All these contradictions. Well, here's the big answer is that we're living through a time of great deceit. The rise of Satanism, the rise of demonic entities, the rise of disinformation and fake news and fabricated, engineered events. And so this is all by design, is to foment confusion, because out of confusion, the way human beings are wired is that they turn to authority. So out of confusion, people turn to authority. So instead of allowing people to seek out information sources that make sense, the establishment is trying to sow confusion. They reverse themselves on purpose. Like the radical leftists, the left-wing terrorists, they say that they are anti-fascist, right? While they are behaving exactly as fascists. They are doing the things that fascists do, demanding obedience, tearing down American flags, destroying statues of historical figures, including Abraham Lincoln and Winston Churchill, by the way. These are things that fascists do, but they call themselves anti-fascists. Why? To sow confusion in your mind so that you can't make sense of it. You can't navigate reality. And when you're confused, you don't know where to turn. You tend to turn to authority. So what authority? Well, of course, the authority is the one lying to you the most. Medical authority, the CDC, no one believes them anymore. They've lost their authority, but they're still being pushed as the authorities. Or if you post a video on YouTube about COVID-19, there will be a magical bar that appears beneath your videos. Get accurate, fact-based information on COVID-19. Visit the WHO. Wait a minute. The same WHO that's run by Communist China and has been lying and reversing itself every 2 weeks? So which version of facts should we cite from the WHO? The facts from today or the facts from a month ago when they had different facts? You see? But it's all about getting you to surrender to authority. And this is because major events are coming that will cause you to question your entire reality. And some of those events include end times events. And yes, you should read the book of Revelation. You should read about what's coming. Giant meteors will fall out of the sky. There will be demons from other dimensions unleashed, crawling out of pits on the earth to go out and kill people. That will happen. It's actually written in the book of Revelation. I'm not just fabricating that. It's actually written. I think it's in chapter 9 of the book of Revelation, in fact. There are things that are about to happen that will rock your world, that will annihilate your reality, and will lead to even more confusion in the minds of most people. Everything is accelerating. The dollar collapse, the debt collapse, the political divide, more coronavirus, second wave infections in places like Texas and Illinois and California. Yeah, it's on the rise. And another bioweapon that is rumored to have been released already in China. On top of the riots, on top of the Antifa uprising, on top of them seizing downtown Seattle with their new autonomous zone, Chaz, which has been renamed now to CHOP, because they realize that declaring themselves to be an autonomous zone will probably get them shot by, federal snipers at some point. So they change their name to try to not get shot, even though they've committed horrible crimes against the innocent people there. They have prisoners, 500 residential homes in those 6 city blocks, and all those people are being held prisoner by Antifa left-wing terrorists. But all of these things are happening, and more will happen. The acceleration is underway that will rock your world. So how do you maintain stability in all of this? Number one, remember that it's your emotions that they're trying to manipulate. They're not trying to give you facts. They're trying to give you emotional reactions at all times. So your emotions can be held together with better nutrition, anti-inflammatories, believe it or not, like natural anti-inflammatory foods like turmeric and green tea and all these things, fresh juice and so on, can help keep your brain and your neurology more balanced so that you're harder for them to manipulate. If they can hijack your emotions, they can turn you into a weapon against law and order of society. But if they can't manipulate you because your neurology is more stable, then you are more in control of your own thoughts and speech and actions. And food is a big part of this. Secondly, do not watch any mainstream media. They are there to whip up hatred and violence and anarchy. That is their primary goal right now. CNN, MSNBC, all of them, they are there to create dissent and to aid and abet the terrorists. That's why most of those big corporations that run the news, including Google and Apple and so on, they've all given money to Black Lives Matter terrorist or terror-related groups. They've all given money because they want more terrorism. They want more anarchy. So don't get your news through them. If you want real news, you've got to turn to the independent media. And I think we have the best news aggregation site called censored.news. And it aggregates something like 40 sources, including, independent news sources. Check out censored.news to get good information, accurate information that isn't designed to just spread violence and riots, but rather is designed to keep you informed and aware of what's happening. Another thing that you can do is pray. Literally pray. Pray to God. Pray for guidance. Pray for angelic protection. Pray for peace. In addition to praying, you should also prepare. So you pray for peace, but you prepare for rioters to come to your door and try to burn down your house. You see, that's the answer. You prepare as you're praying. So just to back up, first you control your own mental ecosystem by not being whipped up into an emotional rage by the left-wing corporate-controlled media. And then you pray for protection, but you also prepare so that when they come for you, and they are going into the suburbs now, I've seen more reports of that. Black Lives Matter and Antifa terrorists are planning on raiding suburbs and rural areas of America to spread their terror far and wide. They are terrorist organizations. That's their job, is to terrorize America, which means you have to be ready in the suburbs. You have to be ready in the farmhouses. You've got to be ready across rural America, ready for them to come to you. And they will not come in peace. They will come to burn down your house, to kill you, to slaughter your animals. They will come to loot and steal and pillage and rape and commit arson. This is who they are. These are the tactics they're using already. So you must be able to defend yourself. That's going to require more than just one pistol, by the way. You'll need a rifle in order to do that as well. So you pray for peace, you prepare for war, you control your mental ecosystem, you get the truth, and you use nutrition to maintain a stable neurology. Spend some time in nature. Plant a garden if you can. Grow some food, take a walk. Nature will help you balance. Get away from all the electronics and all the mobile devices and all the televisions and the computer screens. Get some good sleep. Don't stay up late staring at a screen when you should be asleep, so your hormones can get back into balance. You see, all these things, all of them are important factors in how you can defeat the globalists who are trying to hijack your mind and take over your sense of consciousness and take over your actions and take over your emotions. That's how you do it. I mean, I do all these things. Everything that I just mentioned to you are things that I do, and I do them daily. It's my lifestyle. I live that lifestyle. And that's how I can maintain some semblance of, peace and sanity and rationality during these times of incredible deception and upheavals in society. So I hope those things will help you. I'm sure they will. Oh, and get off the medications too if you can. I mean, the mind-altering meds, that's only going to make things worse. Get out of the cities, less pollution out in the country. Noise pollution, particulate pollution, neighbors yelling and playing music loudly, all these things. Get out of the cities. It will serve you well. So that's my advice. Thank you for listening. Mike Adams here, the Health Ranger. You can hear more of my podcasts at brighteon.com or read my website, naturalnews.com, where I stand for the rule of law. Thank you for listening. Be safe. Thank you for watching. If you want to support our mission, visit us at healthrangerstore.com for the world's largest selection of lab-verified superfood and nutritional products for healthy living. It's at healthrangerstore.com.